What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. This is something a little different. We're going to do a final table review of the Millions main event final table. It was a 2 million guaranteed $3,000 buy-in. I played 4 buy-ins. I played 4 bullets to this tournament myself. I sattied into all those bullets. Couldn't get through to day 2, but all these people did, and they made the final table. This was a multi-flight day, and it was deep, slow structure, so a lot of really good players made this final table. It's generally how it works with these kind of tournaments when you have a lot of time to play and leverage your skill. You know, the best players tend to survive long and do well. So that's what we have here. We have a big final table, and yeah, we're going to do some review, and maybe we can learn some things. Maybe it's just entertaining. We'll see what happens. I do have some info for you guys. So the blind levels are 40 minutes for this tournament. Again, $3,000 buy-in. I think the final prize pool got to 2.2 million. First place, 391,000, and ninth place will get 32,000. So whoever's out first, they're gonna get 32, and then, you know, 40, 50, 60, 80, 120, 180, and then just some ridiculous money, 391,000 for the win. That's the tournament information I got for you guys. And here is our final table. I have a color-coded Preben in the lead right now with 229 million entering this final table, 163 big blinds. Double second place, just in a clear, huge gladiator spot right now with 163 big blinds. Everyone in green, Taco, Yannick, and Ole, they're all in a very good spot. 80 big blinds on a final table is very safe, very comfortable. You can play pots, you can call 3-bets, you can 4-bet, you can defend your big blind without having to worry about going broke. So I would say this is definitely a very safe spot to be and a good spot to be, all 3 of these players. And then it gets a little dicier. Then we kind of have a big jump down to the 30 big blind stack of Jans. And then we have the 20 big blind stacks of Lars, Elis, and Alexander. Oh, yes, right. And then the lone Adrian Mateos, a fan favorite, I'm sure. I guess Ole Shemian, Jans. I mean, there's a lot of good players, well-known players at this final table, but a lot of fans of Mateos sitting on 20 big blinds as the sole short stack. You know, he's not on 10, 12 big blinds. Still a lot of play with 20 big blinds, but that's who we have for the final table. I'll update this periodically. This will probably be a multi-part series, this final table, because, you know, it's deep, 40-minute levels, like I said. But yeah, let's get into the play. So there's your final table, and, you know, let's see if we can learn some stuff, or at least get to see some good poker. Let's get to it. Okay, so we can see the chip leader on the right-hand side of the screen, short stack on the left side of the screen. I don't think we'll see chip leader get involved with 3-8. Ace-9 could go for the raise here. I could see folding happening as well, though. With the ICM of the final table, all these short stacks out there, shortish stacks, I think folding is probably preferred, especially with chip leader on your left, but I don't think it'd be a ridiculous open. Blind versus blind. Kind of an interesting spot here for the queen jack. It's 20 big blinds. Could see a lot of open shoving. You could go for the limp, but then what happens is hands like this go all in and you're folding a bunch of equity. Whereas you could just go for the shove and put pressure on the weak aces like this and make sure you realize all your equity and put the pressure on. I'm not sure exactly what I would go for here. I could see shoving being decent. I could see, yeah, they do go for the shove. I don't know. It's a tricky spot. And for Adrian, you're probably not loving it. You could call, and he does. I don't know if I would call in this spot, to be honest, but we got Adrian with the call. I don't know if I would call. I'll defer to Adrian knowing best. Oh, wow. Ace on the river as well. So sick. I thought we were going to lose Mateos hand number 1 here. I do not know who wins this final table. I don't know where anybody finishes. So this is first time I'm watching this as well. Look at that. Mateos kicking it off with a nice double. Tough for Yannick. I'll do my best to pronounce the names correct. Can't guarantee it, but I'll do my best. Ace-3 suited here. I mean, if you're folding the ace-9-0, this could be a similar, you know, you could maybe open it. Does go for the fold. I expect to see Preben open the jack-10 here as the chip leader. And just a reminder of how big of a chip lead this really is. I mean, we're talking double second place. So a lot of room to maneuver here for Preben. Will we see the back-to-back? Slightly worse position. Jack-10 offsuit. I'm not really sure. I could go either way here. I'm not sure if they will open this. Let's see what they do. One position worse. I feel like you probably could still click the raise button, and they do. An ace-jack for Lars. I could see a 3-bet. I don't know how much you'd want to call. Lars is sitting in, you know, with 3 shorter stacks. You don't really want to, like, let these people attack your calling range. The thing is, Preben's range is so wide, right? So your flatting range here can be attacked if you just go for the call and you don't go for the 3-bet for value against such a wide range. I feel like a 3-bet or a fold are probably the good options here for Lars, and they just go for a fold. That's how I would approach this spot. I don't think I would want to click the call button very much. I would 3-bet. I probably would 3-bet, but I think a fold, again, we're going to defer to the legends that made the final table and not to the 4-bullet satellite guy, which is me. Will ace-6 get involved? 2 jack-10 offsuits in a row for the chip leader. Now we have ace-6. Now we have ace-6 offsuit, early position. That's another open. Don't think any of the in-position players are going to get involved. Adrian could 3-bet, but yeah, quick fold there. Taco does decide to defend the 8-6. Flop is king, 7. In position is going to want to c-bet a lot here, just attack the wide range of the big blind. You know, Taco's sitting here with 8-6 offsuit. Definitely going to be a lot of folding. You know, maybe don't want to get dicey super early against the early position range. But you do have the backdoor flush draw and the backdoor straight draw with the 8-6 here. You know, you could go for a check raise and just target queen 10 offsuit, right? Preben's opening very wide. You know, ace-3 offsuit, ace-6 offsuit. Just put a lot of hands in an awkward spot. I don't know. It's pretty dicey. Would I check raise Preben here with the 8-6 offsuit? I'd probably just click the fold button as Taco does. You could maybe, though. I'd probably click the fold button. Is this the line? I mean, we see jack 10, ace-6, all offsuit. Queen 3's got to be the line. Yeah, queen 3's the line. Another blind versus blind spot. For around 20 big blinds, we probably just see an open shove here with the offsuit ace. Very strong hand. Doesn't perform super well post-flop. You just want to put the pressure on the short stack. And we saw Mateos call for 20 big blinds. You know, Alexander's around a similar situation. So you can probably get called by a few worse aces. And that's what happens there. Just takes it down. Lars here in the mid-stack zone. Under the gun, ace-4 suited. Now, I should mention, it's probably a good time to mention, I am watching this on slightly faster than normal speed. So the ratio of how long these guys are tanking will be the same, but it's going to be a bit quicker than it happened in real time. Just because it's a long final table and I don't want to necessarily spend too many hours. We bumped it up to 1.25x. Just a little faster than normal. So it does go for the open. Notice some of the differences. Lars opening ace-4 suited into the big stack of the big blind. And Taco folded ace-3 suited on a much larger stack in a slightly better position. So that's kind of all I noticed there. Shemian with the, you know, one of the big stacks at the final table. Do they want to play the 9-8 under the gun? Looks like they do. Looks like they do. This is definitely a hand where I think I would probably click the fold button. Just kind of get out of the way. You don't want to get 3-bet. You don't really want to play this out of position. But Shemian disagrees and one of the best in the game. So interesting to note. Preben's going to have something to say about it. Ace-king suited here in the small blind. Does come in for the 3-bet. Takes it down. I think good to mention as well watching this is that, you know, while you want to make takeaways from people's strategies, you also got to understand there is variation in play, right? Like, you know, on Monday some people might open 9-8 suited, and on Tuesday they might fold the same hand, or, you know, they might have specific reads on, okay, this guy's tight on the button, so normally I wouldn't open this hand. But this player on the button specifically is a tight player, so now I'm playing 9-8 suited because I'm not going to have to play out of position against the button. Those kind of reads and notes and things, like, you're not going to get that from a live stream like this. So, well, we want to make takeaways. Like, we're not going to have the specific reads from the players. We're not going to know exactly why they're doing what they're doing. Maybe they're making adjustments and stuff based on game flow or reads or this or that. So, you know, should you guys start opening 9-8 suited in the same spot Shemian did? Maybe, but I think we got to be careful and take it with a grain of salt. So Shemian defends, could have a lead here. Yep, these low card boards, you're going to see the big blinds start to lead a lot. And I guess, well, happened a little bit quickly, but I was going to say, does Jans want to raise with this vulnerable overpair or just play a call? And does just go for the call. And another call. Check, I'm assuming. Oh, these guys are so good. Wow, these guys are so good. The fact that Jans, with the stack that they have against the big stack, you know, not having a lot of 3x, basically having no 2x, right? If you're opening range here from Jans as one of these mid stacks, you don't really have a 2 that's going to open. Like, you're probably just folding ace-2. You're folding pocket 2s. You're folding basically any 3. So you may have like a pocket 6s, but you might not even have like a pocket 4s. So Jans is just like, yeah, my opponent can have a trap. They can have a 2 and just go for the check. They can have, I don't know, just traps, right? But Jans is like, yeah, I don't really have any like super nutted up hands here, but I have jacks and I'm gonna put in this value bet. I just think a lot of people would just instantly check back here. I probably would as well. However, seeing it now, in Shemian's shoes, you don't really need to check any 2x because you know that they don't have 3x in their range, right? And you don't really want to check 3x because of how passive their range is going to play. I don't know. Maybe it is more clear cut as a value bet. You also counterfeit the 6-5, the 6-4, the 4-5. You do counterfeit those hands on the river when the board pairs. So I don't know. The first instinct was, wow, and what a good fold too. I mean, what a good fold too. Wow. The hand kind of blows me the way. The fact that Jans finds the value bet relatively quickly, not really having nutted up hands, and the fact that Shemian's just like, yeah, pocket sevens is no good here on a 6-high board. I think it's an impressive hand. A little bit surprised that Shemian didn't just go for another small bet on the river, but Mateos opening under the gun. Not going to get any customers here, I would assume. You know, the more I think about that Jack's hand, the more clear-cut the value seems. Like, Big Blind just has a lot of 6x, maybe a lot of 5x for two small bets, 6x and 5x. There's like a lot of combos of just these random 6s and 5s. So you definitely do well against the range with the jacks that Jans had. However, the scary part is that you don't have a 2, you don't have a 3, right? You don't have the nutted up hands. And you're just putting in so much of your stack, leaving room for that raise. I guess that's the impressive part, to just recognize that, like, yeah, I'm going to have to deal with some raises here, and I don't have the nuts. You do have a very good hand against the big blind range. This might be the hard part about commentating this final table, is that I'm going to want to go back and talk about specific hands for a long time. I do see an ace-queen and ace-king setup here. Let's go for the 3-bet, as I'm sure 90% of players would, I'm sure. Quick fold. Wow. Quick fold from Jans. Good spot to note, I would say. Just fold the ace-queen offsuit. You're one of the mid-stacks. You don't want to blow it against ace-king and aces and kings and queens. 3-betting ranges against under the gun. The value range is very tight. The bluffing range can get wide in a final table, but just a nice quick fold there from the ace-queen, and that's that. Pocket 10 is going to open it up here. Thought Shemian was going to open the king deuce there for a second. Yannick on 90 million, I would expect to go for the raise here. And we got some ugly looking hands to the left. 6-2, 9-7, 3-8, and 4-5. I mean, Taco may defend 4-5. They do cover Yannick, and we saw the 6-8 offsuit defend earlier against Prebin, so yeah, it does go for the call. And we can probably expect a check bet and a fold. Prebin back in the mix. King deuce suited. He's had a bunch of really junky hands. Hasn't been flexing the chip lead. I'm actually quite curious about this one. Just peer under the gun. No, it does go for the fold. Alexander with 20 big blinds in the big blind with the potential reshove hand. I think that's probably what we'll see a lot here. And no dice with the queen 9. Just gotta get rid of it. Elis. We haven't seen Elis get involved. Ace 8, pretty dicey. It does give it up. Jans with the suited ace. Similar position to where I said they won't have any 2s, but they are deeper now. They are deeper now. Slightly better position. Does open up the suited ace. We'll see if Prebin defends or if they go for something crazier. Feels like a hand you just want to click the call button on a lot, but yeah. Could see another lead. Yeah, there it is. Another lead here from the big blind. This time Jans is probably just going to get out of the way. Not a lot to fight for here with the ace 2 as a mid stack. Pocket 4s of Taco. It's an awkward spot for the 4s, right? You're one of the big stacks, and that's cool. You have a lot of room to maneuver. But you have 2 reshove stacks-ish. And then you got the big stack in a 3-bet spot where they're going to want to play a lot of 3-bets. I feel like you're not loving the 4s. I guess you don't really mind raise folding when you have so many big blinds, and Taco just goes for the open. Prebin also goes for just a call, and Lars has good reason to just ship it in here with the ace 10 suited, and they do. Will Prebin call it off? Okay, goes for the fold. Pretty interesting. I guess just saying, hey, I got 250 million. I'm not doing quite well enough against your range. I don't need 290 million. I'm good on my 250 million. I'll keep you with your mid stack. Didn't seem like a ridiculous spot to click call, but fair enough. Jans with another ace queen. Doesn't look like there'll be as much or any issues with this one. Last one had the fold and made a nice fold. Wow, interesting. Defend from 8-5 offsuit here for Shemian. Really good flop for Jans, and we're gonna see likely just a small bet here. 8-5 offsuit defend. I mean, Shemian's got a lot of chips. It's another spot where I think I would just click fold in the big blind against the tighter range, sitting in a nice mid stack. I think the 2 gappers, the 8-5, the 7-4 offsuit, I would just get rid of those ones. But again, we're here to learn. Jans with another nice hand. Pocket tens. Some ugly hands to the left. We do have Shemian with ace-6 suited in the small blind. Could be a 3-bet candidate. Could be a call candidate. I suppose could be a fold candidate. We just saw them call 8-5 offsuit in the big blind and open 8-9 suited earlier. So I don't know. Anything that looks kind of decent, I would be surprised if they folded this. But there you go. Small blind folds the ace-6 suited against the raise of Jans. And I don't know. Shemian, you know, might have the most confusing play to me so far. Ooh, chip leader with the queens. Danger. Danger for potentially Jans and Adrian. Both have pretty good looking hands here. I guess Alexander might open it up. Oh no, Jans is going to open it up. Alexander will fold. Now I'm curious, if Preben goes for the 3-bet, would we see Adrian take some time and maybe think about a 4-bet? Against under the gun 1 and MP, fold would probably be the most common play, but so we do see 3-bet. We'll see what Adrian does. Does fold relatively quickly, so I think we can expect that most of the time. But I guess what just struck my eye is that if Jans doesn't want to stack off very wide, especially with a 3-better behind, and the 3-better has a very wide 3-betting range, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But if Preben does have a wide 3-betting range as chip leader against that middling stack, could be a spot to just say, hey, I got ace-jack suited, I have decent equity, I do well against the 3-bet range, ship it in, you know? Like, does Jans even call off jacks? You know, do they call off ace king offsuit? I'm not really sure. I mean, it seems like not a ridiculous spot to consider it. Would have been bad news there against the queens. Preben goes for the flat with the ace-8 suited here. An okay flop for both. Both have weakish pairs and no clubs. Check, check. I am curious to see what Alexander will do on the turn here. Feels like you kind of want some protection. You have a good second pair, you definitely can get some value, but like there's so many bad rivers, you don't really want to blow up the pot. Goes check, check once again, and a third check. Any bet here's getting snapped off. It goes check, check. Alexander picks one up. Raising a 3-bet here. Adrian going for the semi-bluff with the ace-10. Against the chip leader range, I would definitely consider it a semi-bluff. You're doing well against some parts of the range and not so good at against others. Preben just quick 4-bet the ace-queen offsuit, not messing about. Adrian cannot call. I really hope that's how you say Preben, because I'm going to be saying this name a lot, I think, with 260 million on this final table. So I think my plan for this part for YouTube is going to be to commentate and spectate until there's 7 left. So when we lose 2 players, that'll be part 1. And then I think part 2, maybe down to 3 players, and then final 3 you can put in a separate part. We'll see how the game flow goes. Maybe it takes way too long for us to get down to 7. But I want these to be somewhat digestible, bite-sized videos, and would love to hear from you guys in the comments if you like this kind of stuff. Sometimes I struggle to make content if I'm not, you know, necessarily running so well, and I've kind of been on a drought in my own poker journey this year and last year, so struggling for actual playing content. Thought I'd make some review content. Lars with the king queen. Doubt we're gonna see them pass this up. Some nice looking hands at this in this spot here. We got 10s, ace jack suited, king 9 suited. I think king 9 usually just gonna be a fold here. I would not expect a call. It would be a 3-bet if anything, but Shemian. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know what the hell Shemian's doing. So far I've been confused by almost everything. This fold, not so much. Pocket 10s does just go for the shove. Elis here for now less than 20 big blinds. Taco, assuming the raise, you know, comes from early position, can't be too happy with this spot to call off. And same with Lars. Gonna get out of the way. I mean, if that goes raise, cutoff, Elis gems, button, and Taco's in the small blind, I mean, you have a good enough hand to probably go with it there with the ace jack suited, but with those positions, not so much. Mateo's gonna open it up. Kind of curious to see what Preben does in the big blind here. Yeah, it does go for the fold. It's kind of good to see. It's a hand where I was kind of wondering whether, you know, they would just click call. I've seen some wider defense than maybe I would go for so far. So Queen 6 is one that I would definitely click fold on, and it's nice to see Preben agrees. It's Ela's turn to pick up a nice hand. Don't think we're gonna get any action with this one though. Action here, probably gonna see Jans open it up with the King 9 suited, Ace King likely to 3-bet, and I mean 4-bet is not impossible here from Jans, but I'd be slightly surprised to see it. This is the classic tale. I mean, you start to get 3-bet a few times. Not that any of these guys are new to this feeling and haven't combated this feeling a million times, but you know, Preben picked up queens against Jan's last open, and now Ace King against the King 9 suited. You start to be like, oh my goodness, how can he have it? Taco with the kings, chip leader with the 10-8 suited. Still a solid 9 players. Nobody really taking any big hits so far. No big coolers. Not a lot of post flop play. Pretty normal for final table play. People don't really want to get involved with the more marginal stuff that you'll see in the earlier stages of the tournament when you're building stacks. Okay, calling the cutoff here. And will Yannick come along here with the weaker suited connector? Call this a suited connector, suited gapper. Suited something does come along. Doesn't strike me as a spot where Taco will want to play a check. Wow, look at this flop. 10-8 suited has an open-ender and flush draw. Top set for Taco does play a check. I figured just a small quarter pot, third pot. You really do well on this board. It's very good for your range. But goes for the check. Wow, what a flop. Check call or check raise. I expect check call just because, I mean, the check in the first place is already indicative of you're not trying to blow this pot out of the water. 9 on the turn. Taco makes a full house. Preben's still sitting here like, I got outs. Check, check. 10 on the river. Big old bet from Taco. Doesn't go for the Hail Mary. I feel like this is a spot where I would... Can I go back with arrow keys? I feel like this is a spot on the river here where after you've played the check flop, check turn line, going for the Hail Mary check raise against all the Queen X in this range. You know, I could have hands like Queen Jack, maybe King Queen wants to play a check on the turn. Like, I just don't think it's very hard for cutoff to have a lot of Queen X in this spot. And then you also go for the Hail Mary against worse full houses. You've already checked twice out of position. I don't know. I think if this was me, I'd probably go for the big check raise option on the river. I mean, this way at least you force money in against the queen. Like you're likely to get the call. Like I don't think they're raising Queen X, right? And I don't know, they might be scared with some weaker full houses if those really exist. Those aren't going to be very common. I don't know. My first thought was like, you played check flop, you played check turn. In position's going to bet their Queen X and like maybe some thinner value. You have to go for the Hail Mary big check raise. Kind of like that idea, but just a bet from Taco and takes it down. You know, Preben might very well turn a hand like what they had into a bluff on the river, knowing that a 10 against check call is not going to be very good. These sort of things. Alexander picks one up with the Jack 10 suited. Oh, back to back. Jan's not going to let this one through though, unless there's a 3-bet from the Jack 10. This one's going to get through, it must. Haven't seen Preben come with anything too crazy for a while. Kicked off the final table with a bunch of raises, but the ranges have been very reasonable so far, folding the Queen 8. Blind level still the same here on 1.4 million. Like I said, 40-minute blind level, so it is on the slow slide. As you'd want it to be for a main event. I mean, wow, these are some of the ugliest hands I've ever seen. 8 deuce, 2-3, 8-3, 8 deuce, 4-9, 6-9 offsuit, King 6 off. This is the ugliest 9 hands I've maybe ever seen. Congrats to Yannick. Congrats to Yannick on 2 cards above 10. You know, I find it's kind of fun watching these final tables because it gives you perspective on how often people have nothing. You know, when you're in game and you're playing and you're like kind of scared to go for a steal or you're scared to go for a raise in this certain position, like just remembering that people are just going to fold a bunch. They're just going to have nothing and they're not going to play back at you with deuce 5 offsuit like Lars or 8-9 offsuit like Adrian. You know what I mean? Like there's just ugly hands all over the place at the poker table. It's kind of nice. It's a refresher to just get out of your head when it comes to like, you know, playing loose late position and going for steals and stuff. Preben has not skipped any of the Ace X so far. I think they've had ace-6 offsuit 3 or 4 times now, though, specifically. Yeah. Shemian in the flatting range here can have quite strong hands, just given the fact that they might not... There's a lot of hands for Shemian that probably don't want to 3-bet and get 4-bet, but definitely want to play pots against Prebin. Like, I don't know, maybe like 9s and 10s can still be in their range. Ace-queen suited, maybe some ace-king even, potentially. I'm not going to claim to know how Shemian's playing the range, but I could see that being the case where they have, since they're so deep, they don't want to 3-bet and get 4-bet with a lot of these value hands, potentially. So that makes it a bit more awkward for Elis when they're all in there, because Shemian can have some strong hands to call, but not the ace-10 suited. Raise and a 3-bet. Curious what Yannick's going to go for here. Goes for the call, flops well. Although Yan's in position, still 2 overs and the king of spades working for them, so we'll see what they go for. Goes for a very small bet in position. And a call. I'd expect a lot of check-check. Just try to improve if you're Yans. Don't want to face a shove with the stack to par ratio. But I'm wrong. We see a double barrel. Another call. Will we see the triple barrel? Let's go for the check. I mean, you know, backseat gaming, a little interesting here, right? You block ace queen, king queen. You block the flushes in Yannick's range. Feels like it could be a candidate to go for the triple barrel. You know, this player can have lots of hands like pocket 8s, pocket 9s, hands like queen jack, which are just in a really ugly spot against the triple barrel, right? You block some of the key flushes that are going to be in their calling range. You block some of the best top pairs, ace queen, king queen. Feels like it could be a candidate. But yeah, I mean, give up. Yannick takes it. Nice pot. And we got a new short stack on 24 million now. And again, I will say, guys, when I'm talking through these hands, I'm just giving my own thought process. I'm not claiming to know better than any of these guys, of course. I'm just analyzing, kind of giving my own thoughts, how I think about the game. Just a little curiosity. That's all this is. Not coaching, not claiming that I know better at all. Here to learn. I feel like that's just a spot where I definitely could have ran it on the river, I think, if it was me, which may be a punt, but Ace-Jack takes it down. Okay, Shemian's turn with the ace-king. Guess interesting things to note about this hand. Will Jans raise queen 10 offsuit? I doubt it. Will Prebin open deuce 5 suited? I would assume so. And will Shemian 3-bet the ace-king? I would assume so. I don't think those last 2 things are set in stone, though. Do you see a raise? Not a 3-bet, but an all-in with the ace-king. You can see how I didn't even mention all-in. Kind of gives you an idea of... Yeah, I don't even think I would consider all-in. Like I said, don't even ask me to talk about Shemian's hands, because clearly I'm just off the beat here so far. I'm off the beat. And Shemian is such a good player, such a crusher for such a long time. It's a little scary. A little scary how off the beat I am from Shemian's game. Okay, nice hand though. Takes it down. See a limp and a bluff raise. Takes it down. We'll see what Ole does against Jans here. I'm assuming we're going to see an open raise and not a shove. Could potentially be a shove, but I think the raise is coming mainly. I guess this is where I was interested. I mean, short stack, early position, you have 9s. Does go for the call. Doesn't want to 3-bet, get it in. Doesn't want to 3-bet fold. Just going to go for the call. Adrian not defending the jack 5. Good to note. One of these final table defend spots. You're just out of the way. Top set does go for a small bet. And will Jans peel one off or just out of the way? Too expensive given the situation. Looks like it's too expensive. Quite enjoyed watching this final table so far. Ace queen suited. I would expect another open raise. And I'm sure... Wow, look at these hands. Ace queen, ace king, and jacks. Man, assuming this goes raise 3-bet, I mean, Yannick's sitting with jacks. Like, you probably just have to fold, right? Or you could maybe go... Man, you might just have to fold. Because you're sitting in second place against the 3-betting range against under the gun. You don't really want the spot with the jacks, right? Like, you have a tight range from under the gun, and then you have 3-bet against this under the gun. And the 3-better is the only player that can knock you out of the tournament. Well, okay, I'm seeing the Taco Now covers, but essentially, the 3-better is the only person that can knock you out. I think you just have to fold the jacks. It's quite a small 3-bet, but... Like, it is a small 3-bet, but man. Yeah, fold. It is a fold. Shove and a call incoming. Is this the end of Jans? Are we down to 8? Or is this a survival hand? The run out comes quick. GG. Jans out in 9th. Graph tackle. Kind of a legend. Kind of a legend. GG. So Jans is gonna earn themselves $32,000. GG. I'm gonna update the payouts once we lose another player. We'll kind of update the graphs and go through it. And then there were 8. Everything gets a bit looser. Less players on the table, a little more room, less players to get through. Next payout is $41,400. That was a pretty annoying final table for Jens. I mean, had some good hands and kept getting 3-bet, you know, whiffed with the ace-jack against the 9s. Got led into a couple of times from the big blind. Just overall kind of an annoying final table. 20 big blinds here against Taco. Get a check back. Ooh, it's a good flop for Taco. Can't imagine we're seeing a check back here. And Elis is just out, I would assume. Can't really do much with Queen Jack. I mean, you can call and hope that they have Queen 4 and carry on. Oh, so yeah, I guess we'll see a little bit more about this Shemian Prebin dynamic. You know, whether they're just playing a lot of flat calls here, or if we're going to see a 3-bet and then a fold against a 4-bet. I think that's probably what's going to happen here, is we're going to see 3-bet for value, but then versus the... No, okay, so Shemian's just going for another call. I cannot get a play right from Shemian. I cannot get it right for Shemian. And here, Elis, I mean, 20 big blinds, probably going to go all in. And somebody's calling. Prebin's calling. Prebin is calling. I mean, if Shemian 3-bet, I think Elis is surviving here, right? It's kind of unfortunate. Kind of unfortunate for Elis that Shemian didn't go for the 3-bet. Because then they would have, I'm assuming, folded the 9s. Here we go. Kings against 9s. Are we down to 7? Oh, that's a set. Oh, never mind. That's a set. And Shemian. Wow, okay. 75 million for Elis. Making a full house with the 9s. That shakes things up. Okay, so 3 shorter stacks. 36 million for Lars. 37 million for Adrian. And 43 million for Alexander. Everyone else is sitting quite healthy now. Bro, I haven't gotten a single one of Shemian's hands right. Not a single one. My first point is that, you know, Shemian was going to have a lot of hands that don't want to 3-bet and then face the 4-bet with the stacks that the way they are. But I felt like ace queen offsuit was maybe the one that would like a 3-bet and then just fold against the 4-bet. Like, that's fine. But I was wrong again. Shemian raised, take it. No 3-bets from the suited aces to the left. They're just out of the way. Another suited ace here. Much worse suited ace in the ace deuce, not the ace 9. I'm voting fold. It's going to be a fold. All right, finally. I got one right. Got one right for Shemian. None of these hands very attractive. Now, Prebin in the small blind against one of the shorter stacks. 2-3 suited. I don't know why I started saying 2 today instead of deuce 3. But deuce 3 suited in the small blind. I could see an open raise and a fold after. Could see a shove. We do see the shove. Kind of the power of playing a lot of all-ins as the big stack. We can see you're getting hands like king 8 to fold when you have 3 high. And the beauty is they know you're shoving crazy wide, but they're still going to fold it. They're still going to fold it. Okay, raise from Elis. Prebin just calling on the button. Will Shemian come along? They do. A lot of checks, I'm assuming, on the old 7-6-5. Nobody really connecting super well except for Shemian, but they've already checked. Imposition does go for the bet. I mean, okay. All right. Makes some sense, right? You have the backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw here with the jack 10. You can stay aggressive on 8s and 9s. You have a pretty nice bluff. You can stay aggressive on diamonds. Ace jacks, ace queens, king queens, you know, ace 2, ace 3 offsuit for the big blind. There's quite a few auto folds in both ranges on this board. You have the chips to burn. The bet's making some sense here, definitely. Take note of Shemian just folding straight up on the flop here. Multi-way, doesn't like the fact that there's no good turns and rivers. You still have the initial pre-flop raiser who, you know, you have queen 7, you're out of position. You still have this player in the pot. I mean, this player I would assume is going to check, like, maybe just their range, right? Like, I don't know. They might just check kings and aces still, queens still, 8s, 9s. They might just very well check their range. So if they can still have a strong range, and the board runout's just going to be very dicey, right? You don't have the backdoor flush draw. Any 8, 9, 4, any overcard to the board, like pretty much all turns and rivers suck. So with the player still to act, just folds the queen 7, no backdoor flush draw. I would assume maybe a 7 with some backup equity would be what Shemian would call. That's kind of what I'm gathering from this, is that a 7-8, a 7-4, a 7-9, queen 7 of clubs or hearts, you know, having that backup equity so that you can actually handle the pressure that's going to be put on. That's what I'm assuming the calling range would look like here, and just folding just a kind of nothing 7 with no backdoor. Maybe if this range was weaker, you know, maybe if they didn't still have maybe aces and kings in their range, that could also play an impact into what they're calling or folding here. But interesting fold, and Preben taking it down. I see the blinds went up. I don't know when that happened. Within the last few hands, definitely. Okay, Jack 10 suited, raising it up. Preben, chip leader, not gonna pass the Queen 7. I'm putting money on it. Shemian, don't put money in. I will be so sick. Thank you. Trying to get a beat on Shemian's game here. This looks like back-to-back for Preben. Yep, takes it down. Alexander probably going to open and raise this one up and might get this one through. Elis here in the small blind could come along for a flat, and Taco has defended their big blind, you know, on the wider side, I would say, but I think the 6-4 would get out of the way, but I don't know. We'll see. Elis also folds. Not going to go for the set mine here in the small blind. It's good to know. Probably one that I would call. All right, our boys, the real commentators, Mr. James and Henry. Back to the action. I should mention, if you guys like these final table, you know, if you guys like these final tables, they are streamed on the Party Poker TV Twitch channel, twitch.tv/partypokertv. I'm a member of Party Poker Team Online. I'm sometimes appearing on that channel for some different cash game stuff or tournament sessions. Hopefully one day on one of these big final tables, but Party Poker TV is where you go. That's where I'm getting this footage. Adrian about to call off here. Ace 4, pocket 8s. These two battle again for 20 big blinds. Adrian won the last one on the river with the best hand. Again, has the best hand. Oh, wow. So many outs. Oh, wow. Yannick with the runner flush. Gonna knock out Adrian Mateos in 8th place. Wow. Jans and Mateos. Amadi and Graph Tackle. Okay. GG, guys. That's part 1, man. We're down to 7 now. The start of the millions. Hope you guys enjoyed that part. Let's do a little update first. We're going to cut to the update here of how this final table looks with all the new stack sizes and the payouts. Okay, so after the first episode of the final table review, this is where we're at for the final table. Preben still sitting in the chip lead by an insane amount, 150 big blinds now. Heading into the next video, we got Yannick and Taco both up on 90 big blinds. They're sitting really nice. Clear differential between them and the rest of the final table. They're still very far away from Preben, but they're in a safe spot. They got the green zone. Shemian, the mysterious wonder, sitting on 56 big blinds, sitting in a good spot. I mean, clearly not as safe as Yannick and Taco. You know, you play a 3-bet pot, suddenly you're down to 30. Just not quite as safe, but sitting really nice. Elis made a nice comeback here, made a nice full house against Pocket Kings to go from one of the short stacks to up to now 40 big blinds, sitting pretty good. Alexander on the 28 big blinds, and then Lars is our short stack here in 7th, now under 20 big blinds. We lost 2 players, Jans and Adrian, 2 online legends. Jan's gonna collect 32,000 and Adrian 41,000. Quick refresher on the payouts before we go for next video. 391,000 up top. These payouts have been wiped out now. There we go. That's what we're playing for. I hope you guys enjoyed part 1. If you did, click the like button, drop a comment. Let me know if you like this kind of stuff. Let me know if I'm an idiot or not, or if you like this kind of review. Come back for part 2. See you then.